Welcome to Philosophy Decoded, where we explore timeless wisdom for modern life. Let's decode today's philosophy. You are one of the wealthiest people in the Roman Empire. You own vast estates, employ thousands of servants, dine on delicacies from across the world. Your fortune rivals that of emperors. You live in marble palaces and travel in luxurious comfort. You have more money than you could spend in 10 lifetimes. Now imagine claiming to be a Stoic philosopher. Imagine writing that material possessions mean nothing, that true wealth is virtue, that a wise person should be indifferent to external goods. Imagine teaching others to live simply while you live in extreme luxury. Your critics call you the biggest hypocrite in Rome. This was Seneca's problem. Today we explore the Stoic paradox through the most controversial philosopher in ancient history. We will see why being rich and wise seemed impossible. And we will discover Seneca's defense, which reveals something profound about wealth, virtue, and living well. Lucius Annaeus Seneca was born around 4 before the Common Era in Corduba, Spain. He moved to Rome as a young man to study philosophy and law, eventually becoming one of the most powerful people in the empire. Seneca became a senator and celebrated orator. Then politics turned dangerous. Emperor Caligula reportedly wanted him executed because his oratory was too successful. Seneca survived only because someone convinced Caligula that Seneca would die soon anyway. When Claudius became emperor, accusations led to exile in Corsica for 8 years before being recalled to serve as tutor to young Nero. When Nero became emperor at 17, Seneca became one of his chief advisors. For several years, Seneca helped run the Roman Empire while guiding the young emperor. But as Nero matured, he became increasingly erratic and cruel. He eventually pushed Seneca out of power. Seneca tried to retire. He offered to return his wealth to Nero, asking only to live simply in philosophical study. Nero refused but allowed Seneca to withdraw from court. A few years later, Nero accused Seneca of conspiracy and ordered him to commit suicide. Seneca complied, dying in 65 in a manner he had philosophically prepared for his entire life. During all these years of political maneuvering and wealth accumulation, Seneca wrote extensively about Stoic philosophy. His essays and letters advocated living according to reason, practicing virtue, remaining indifferent to external circumstances, and preparing for death. He wrote beautifully about simple living and the worthlessness of material possessions. And he did this while being extraordinarily rich. His critics were brutal. How can you tell others to despise wealth while hoarding it? How can you preach simplicity while living in luxury? The accusations of hypocrisy followed Seneca throughout his life and after his death. Seneca addressed these criticisms directly. His defense reveals sophisticated understanding that many critics missed. The Stoics did not actually demand poverty. They demanded something more difficult: the ability to use wealth without being enslaved by it. The Stoic position on wealth is often misunderstood. Stoics classified things as good, bad, or indifferent. The only true good is virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. The only true bad is vice. Everything else, including wealth, health, and reputation, is indifferent. Neither good nor bad in itself. However, Stoics divided indifference into preferred and dispreferred. Wealth is a preferred indifferent. All else being equal, having money is preferable to not having it. A Stoic can pursue wealth and use it. The crucial point is that wealth must never become necessary for your well-being. You prefer it, but you do not need it. If you lose it, your inner stability remains intact. Seneca argued that the wise person can have great wealth without being corrupted. The test is simple. Can you let it go? If everything were taken tomorrow, would you remain tranquil? If yes, you are using wealth properly. If no, wealth owns you. Seneca claimed he was ready to lose everything. His eventual forced suicide suggests he meant it. He distinguished between having wealth and being attached to wealth. You can own vast property without your happiness depending on it. The key is your attitude, not your bank balance. A poor person desperately clinging to their few possessions is more enslaved than a rich person who holds wealth lightly. Seneca pointed out that wealth provides opportunities for virtue that poverty does not. A wealthy person can be generous in ways impossible for someone with nothing. They can support friends, fund public works, help the less fortunate. Refusing wealth means refusing opportunities to exercise virtue. The question is not whether you have money, but what you do with it and how you relate to it. His critics remained unconvinced. If you truly held wealth as indifferent, you would give it away. Seneca's response was practical. Keeping wealth does not prove attachment any more than giving it away proves wisdom. The measure is internal, not external. Much of Seneca's wealth came from his position in Nero's court. Refusing it might not have been safe. Appearing too different could have been dangerous. Nero eventually turned on Seneca despite loyal service. Seneca acknowledged the tension between ideals and reality. He wrote that he was not a sage, not a perfect Stoic, but someone working toward wisdom. He made mistakes and fell short. But he kept trying. Philosophy was not about perfection but continuous progress. This raises an important question. Should we judge philosophers by whether they perfectly embody their teachings, or by whether those teachings are valuable regardless of personal failings? Seneca's essays on anger, grief, the shortness of life, and tranquility remain profound whether or not he fully lived up to them. Modern readers face similar challenges. How do you practice philosophy in a world that demands participation in morally complex systems? Seneca's solution was engagement without attachment. Participate where necessary, but maintain inner freedom. Do your job, fulfill your roles, even accumulate wealth if circumstances lead there, but never let external things control your inner state. This is harder than it sounds. It is easier to reject wealth entirely than to hold it without attachment. Seneca chose the difficult path. Consider his essays on time. He was obsessed with not wasting life. Every hour matters because death is coming. Use your time wisely. This advice comes from someone who spent years in imperial politics involving enormous time on matters Seneca considered ultimately meaningless. The tension is obvious. It is also deeply human. Seneca wrote extensively about controlling anger. He described it as temporary madness that destroys judgment. He provided techniques for recognizing and diffusing it. These essays are brilliant. They came from someone who served Nero, an emperor known for explosive rage. Did Seneca sometimes fail to control his own anger? Almost certainly. Does that make his analysis wrong? Not at all. His letters to Lucilius reveal Seneca at his best. He writes with warmth and practical wisdom about daily challenges. How to deal with difficult people. How to face fear. How to find peace. How to prepare for death. These feel like genuine attempts to help a friend live better. What can you take from Seneca today? First, wealth itself is not the enemy. What matters is your relationship to material things. Can you enjoy them without needing them? Can you use them without being used by them? Second, recognize the gap between ideals and practice. Everyone fails to live up to their own standards. That does not make the standards wrong. Progress matters more than perfection. Third, you can engage with the world without being corrupted. You can work within imperfect systems while maintaining your values. The key is maintaining inner freedom regardless of external circumstances. The question of whether Seneca was a hypocrite has no simple answer. He held ideals he did not perfectly embody. But who does? What we know for certain is that Seneca faced death with the tranquility he had written about for decades. When Nero ordered his suicide, Seneca remained calm. He comforted his friends. He opened his veins without complaint. This was the ultimate test of Stoic practice, and he passed it. Whatever compromises he made in life, he met death with philosophical integrity. The Stoic paradox Seneca embodied remains relevant. Can you be rich and wise? Can you succeed without being enslaved by success? Seneca's answer is yes, but it requires constant vigilance, honest self-examination, and the willingness to let go of everything if necessary. That is harder than simply being poor. It might also be more valuable. Next time on Philosophy Decoded, we distill the Stoic teaching that makes all others possible. Control what you can, ignore the rest. This simple rule, applied consistently, revolutionizes how you handle stress, fear, disappointment, and daily frustration. We explore why this Stoic law works and how to use it starting today. Do not miss it. And that's the wisdom behind it. If this helped you think deeper, Subscribe for weekly explorations of philosophy and meaning. Thanks for watching.